Camera for Cam's Mortgage Minute on Monday, February 26th. Was recently dealing with some clients who were purchasing a condo, and they were asking me whether I thought it was a good idea to get a property home inspection done on it. I certainly told them I think it's a good idea, and it got me to thinking that not everybody's always aware why they need an inspection or why it is a good idea to get one on a condo. So I thought I'd cover a few points with you today. Number one, a property home inspection by a licensed and qualified inspector, and I'm going to qualify that. Those are the key things. Make sure you do your due diligence when you're doing this. This is not an area where you want to really try to find the cheapest guy out there without criteria, without qualification, or the cheapest gal out there and you don't know nothing about them. Do your legwork, because this person, you're going to rely upon them and their expertise to some degree, and you should feel confident in that. Anyway, a property home inspector for a condo situation is going to check things like your electrical, your plumbing, everything internally in your unit to make sure it's working and functioning the right way. There's things like exhaust fans, and there's going to be like kitchen hood fans and things like that. I recently had a client who bought a condo, and upon inspection they discovered a couple of things jammed up inside the hood exhaust, which certainly impeded the airflow. You're going to make sure things like carburetors and other work that was done in the unit was done to code. Sometimes from the original, folks change electrical light fixtures, they put in other things. So everything in that unit you want to make sure is up to code. Another area is the balcony and patio area. Again, because they're attached to the building, they are yours for your enjoyment, but they do affect other units around you. You want to make sure that they're watertight, waterproof, and that there is no leaking issues there, especially if it, well, obviously they almost all have railings. Again, they're going to be checking to make sure the caulking and everything around it, the trim, everything is right. Doors, patio doors, windows, all of those things that, again, you want an inspector to have a look. As far as the exterior of the building, the stucco, now with the technology that's out there, inspectors have devices that can measure behind walls to check for moisture levels. Again, with leaky condos and things like that that happen, you definitely want an inspection. Another area is they're going to be able to check things like the garage, making sure that the underground parking, there's not going to be water issues there, water is adequately draining away from the building. These are areas of expertise. Also, they're going to be checking for, let's say in the garage, pitting problems from salt and other types of related things. The main gates that open and close there, is everything adequate there? You're going to want them to do basically a comprehensive around it, because whether you know it or not, I mean, when you buy into a condo, you're buying into the common property everywhere. So if there is a problem with it, you're going to be inheriting that problem just as much as every other owner in the building, to whatever percentage your unit has an allocation. Another thing that you want to do and put some due diligence into is reviewing the minutes. Definitely, I know it's a lot of paperwork, and sometimes people say, well, you know what, I don't feel like reading it. Read them. Because any issues that are with the building often do get mentioned in the minutes, and you want to have a look at that. Have a look at the AGM, that's the annual general meeting minutes, and they're going to be basically going over the main things that the Strata Council is doing from one year to the next. You also want to be looking in that for how big the budget is, how big the contingency is. These are things that are all relevant to you. Another thing a building inspector would be doing, mentioning that, is they're going to check hopefully the roof of the building. They're going to check the heating units and different things that run that are associated with the building, or at least try to find out the vintage, the age, or whatever. There's going to be elevators, perhaps they'll know what era that's from. The goal is you want to know as much as you can about this building, because ultimately in the long run, whatever improvements, repairs have to happen, you're going to be sharing a percentage of. So because you're going to be living in this building, and not just in your unit in isolation, the whole place will affect you. Take the time and effort. It's well worth it. It's a great way of avoiding, hopefully, nightmares and things like that with buildings. With BC, for example, by the end of the year, it's going to be mandated that strata councils have annual depreciation reports. So those are going to look at a building, and they're going to look at all the different facets that run that building and put a life expectancy on everything, and replacement costs and when they're going to be needed. So again, they're going to be hopefully an eye-opener for folks when they're buying units. If some of the strata buildings you're looking at already have that report, wonderful. If they don't, hey, it's not mandated yet. But again, it's another tool to help you make that decision. So, in a nutshell, get an inspection, get it looked at, worth the small cost that you're going to have to pay. It'll give you hopefully peace of mind, but the key is find a good inspector. Anyway, it's been Cam for Cam's Mortgage Minute, and I will see you tomorrow.